The movie begins at a time when humanity has been wiped out, forcing the survivors to live in space in small pods among several planets. A girl named C lived in one of the pods with her father, Damon. One night while trying to sleep, C overhears an announcement telling them that they will be making their final pass around the green moon. Hearing this, C rushes to her father's compartment and asks him why he had not told her that this would be their last trip around the green moon. He does not answer and tells her to go to bed, to which she replies that she wants to help him. Her father does not say anything but hands her a piece of equipment to clean. Sometime later, the two of them lie in their beds while Damon tells her that she looks exactly like her mother. He begins to tell her the story of her birth, where she had arrived much earlier than they had expected. They had been on a vacation in a place called Lao, which is where C was born. When C hears the story, she tells Damon that they should head back to their planet. He assures her that they will and that living in the pickup craft is only temporary. Just as he is falling asleep, Damon claims that he should have told C. She asks him what he meant, but by this time, Damon's medication had taken effect and he had fallen asleep. Sometime later, the two of them are awakened by an alarm, informing them that it is time for their last pickup from the green moon. Damon turns the engines on as their craft is dropped from a mothership. However, not long after, their ship starts to malfunction as the planet's atmosphere is too harsh and they end up crashing a few kilometers away from their destination. C manages to pinpoint their location and they decide to trek by foot to the collection point. Since C and Damon were poor, they made a living by collecting precious gems from planets and selling them off to people known as mercs. Damon tells C to suit up, and soon they leave their craft and enter a planet that is densely packed with trees all around them. As they're walking to their destination, Damon notices an relic dig where special gemstones can be found. Since he has not seen one in a long time, Damon wants to stop, while C thinks that they don't have enough time to dig it up. Despite her telling Damon not to waste time, he asks her to get their kit and starts digging. Finally, he manages to dig the gemstone out and marvels at its beauty. C thinks that one rare gemstone should be enough to hold them off, but Damon gets greedy and tells his daughter that they haven't even reached the main gemstone collection point, the Queen's Lair. He convinces her that having enough gemstones would set them up for life, claiming that they will not have to worry about making a pickup again. C agrees to follow him and they make their way deeper into the forest. Damon asks C to fill their water bottles while he scours the area. Just then, she hears her father tell her to switch off her comms as he spots two armed men in the distance. C hides behind a tree as one of the men goes through her father's kit, while the other one named Ezra keeps Damon pinned so that he cannot get away. To get away from them, Damon tells them that he is working with the higher authorities to mine gemstones. He also tells them that his data had revealed that there was a big relic in the area known as the Queen's Lair, larger than anything that they had seen before. This would give them the chance to extract larger gems and make more money. Convinced, Ezra lets Damon go and follows behind him. As soon as Damon gets the chance, he sends a message to C and tells her to discreetly follow behind them with a gun. When they reach their destination, Damon gets too greedy and he turns against the two men. He points his gun at the other man, who does the same and points the gun at Damon. The two of them shoot at the same time, landing fatal shots at each other. At this point, C emerges from her hiding place and points her gun at Ezra, who had spotted her and was pointing his weapon at her. C makes a run for it and makes her way back to the crash site. Knowing that Ezra was following behind her, C enters the pod and locks it. Several days go by of C camping inside the pod, and slowly she goes through her food storage as well. One day, she hears a noise outside her craft and prepares for his arrival by hiding behind a seat with her gun pointed towards the door. As soon as Ezra enters the pod, she shoots him in the shoulder, but he steals her gun before she can do anything else. He then sits on the floor and asks C if they have a field kit. Instead of handing him the kit, she snatches the weapon back and tells him that he is going to fly her to Connection Orbit for Freighter Slingback. He agrees to help her but confesses that his crew had gotten into an altercation and killed each other. Like C, he was the only survivor left, only he did not have a functioning ship like her. He tells her that the mercs to whom her father was selling the gems are ruthless and that she cannot do anything without him because they will kill her. Although C has a hard time accepting the reality, she realizes that Ezra is right, but she is still mourning the loss of her father. Ezra apologizes for having a part in her father's death, but reminds her that he was planning on stealing their entire harvest, and that he knew he might get killed if he stole anything. Finally, she agrees, and they come up with a plan. After some time, the two of them decide to use C's craft filter to fix his ship. They walk into the forest once again until a wounded Ezra sits down to take a break. Just then, C spots someone moving among the trees. Ezra tells her to calm down and not point her weapon at them because it will provoke them. He explains that they are known as Satyr, religious settlers and scavengers living on the Green Moon. When C indicates that she does not want to interact with them, Ezra informs her that they exchange supplies for medical kits, and since he's injured and getting worse by the second, he needs all the help that he can get. Once Ezra starts following the Satyr, C is left with no choice but to go along with them. Not long after, they reach an alien encampment where the two of them are stripped of their weapons before being escorted inside a camp. The first thing that C notices is a young girl sitting next to the Elder along with a dead woman lying at the side. Ezra starts talking to the Elder and tells him that he is willing to exchange some of the precious gems for medical kits. However, the Elder offers Ezra a box filled with large gemstones. He tells Ezra that they will give him the box in exchange for C, explaining that they have lost their mother and need another woman to take her place and help continue their lineage. As soon as C hears this, she immediately runs out of the camp and heads into the forest. Although the alien satyrs try to follow her, she manages to outrun them. Not long after, C finds herself alone deep in the forest. This is when she hears someone talking over a radio and walks ahead to check. She discovers a lone camp in the middle of the forest and enters it. All of a sudden, Ezra tackles her from the side before assuring her that he will not harm her. He hands her his gun and a bar of chocolate before telling her that he needs her to amputate his arm since the infection from the bullet is starting to spread. To his surprise, C calmly takes the knife from him and expertly cuts through the flesh and bones before wrapping his arm up. She confesses that she was forced to cut our organs while she was in prison with her father, which was much worse than amputating his limb. The next morning, Ezra is feeling better. They continue moving until they reach Queen's lair. They make their way through the forest and Ezra tries to make conversation by asking C what planet she's from. However, she tells him that she does not have a home. Ezra's trick seems to work and C starts to open up to him as she talks about her favorite book and eventually tells him her name. Later that night, the two of them reach the Queen's lair where they come across several Satyr aliens and a man who is being kept inside a box. Ezra introduces himself as Damon and tells the Satyr leader that in exchange for extracting gems, he wants a guarantee that he and C will be taken to the orbit connection before the last slingback. At first, the Satyr does not agree and even gets disapproval from the aliens around him. But when Ezra stays firm in his decision, claiming that he will not extract aliens unless they agree to his condition. Eventually, one of the aliens tells the leader that they can get rid of some of the cargo to fit them in. He then takes Ezra and C towards the Queen's lair where they notice several large diamond extraction sites. They get right to work with C assisting Ezra, however he struggles to keep the gems alive with only one functional hand. He accidentally punctures the sack, causing the gem to die before the extraction is complete. He then tries again but fails. Seeing this, the Satyr begins to grow restless and he threatens to kill both of them, claiming that they can't do their job right. Scared, C gets to work and tries to extract a gem without Ezra's help. She manages to get it out of the dig but punctures it just as she goes to pull out the gem. When the Satyr notices this, he points his gun at them. Unbeknownst to him, C picks up an explosive liquid and throws it at the Satyr, killing him instantly. Hearing the commotion, the other Satyrs rush to the dig as well, but C quickly jumps into action and uses the explosive liquid again, creating enough of a distraction to give the two of them a chance to escape into the forest. They manage to hide for a while, but both of them are aware that they will get caught if they don't make a move. Ezra suggests that C should distract the aliens so that he can run towards the craft and make their exit possible. C agrees and rushes towards the clearing while Ezra hides behind the trees before slowly making his way to the craft. However, he does not get far as a Satyr catches up to him and stabs him. Despite his injuries, he does not give up and manages to kill the alien before collapsing. Hearing their struggle, C runs back to the forest and notices that Ezra is heavily injured. He tries to tell her to go away, but she refuses to leave him behind. C goes back to Queen's lair and grabs some of their equipment. She patches Ezra up the best that she can and helps him up. They finally reach the Queen's lair where they are surprised to see that the man in the box has escaped and is killing the Satyrs for them. He lets them reach the craft safely. The movie ends with the two of them flying out of the Green Moon and reaching the slingback before it makes its final journey away from the planet. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed the content, like and share in the comments any movies you would like us to recap.